Okay. This is the best part about 10.3. How much money am I gonna make? Woo! Okay, so this formula should actually look familiar. This is part of my 3 for those of you that actually have a teacher. Okay. Who?
Are we doing like compound interest and stuff?
Yes, that's what we're doing. Compound interest, all that happy stuff. Okay, so this is the most basic formula. This is when it's only compounded yearly. Okay, you're not breaking it down by month, you're not breaking it down by day. Okay, the one that you're probably more familiar with is dividing this by something, by k, and multiplying this by k, which we're going to get to. But you don't need to do that when you're doing annual because your k values are 1. So it's never going to change anything. Okay, so when we fill out this equation, it's interest. So we're gaining. That's why it's 1 plus I. Remember, if it's gaining, it's over 100, which means it's going to be 1 point something. Well, that takes care of it in the formula right there. 1 plus. It's adding on your interest rate. Okay? Your P sub 0 is still, how much money am I putting into that account? Your I, what's your interest rate? Is it 6%? Is it 72%? What are you getting? And N is how many years? Okay, are you letting it in the account for 6 years, in the account for 17 years? How long are you going to leave it? Okay, so let's move on to some problems. Why did everything shrink so much? I don't understand. All right, so it's literally going to be a plug and chug. I will provide this formula for you on your test tomorrow. However, these formulas are not provided on your final. Okay. So they want to know, how much money am I going to have in my account at the end of 7 years? Well, the first thing they need to tell me is, how much money am I putting in? How much money am I putting into this account? $367.51. Okay, it's always 1 plus. That'll never change. Okay, before I put my interest rate into the equation, I need to change this to a decimal. What's 4.5% as a decimal? 0.045. Remember, it's just a matter of taking your decimal and moving it 2 spaces to the left. When you have that blank spot, you fill it in with a 0. And then all I need to do then is tell me, how many years do I want this to happen for? Well, I want this to happen for 7 years. So you raise it to the 7. Plug it in. Get an answer. Are they always going to be this easy? Heck to the no. But we're going to start out nice and slow. $500.13. Did you make a lot of money?
Yes.
In 7 years?
Oh.
No, not really. You really only gained not even $150 in 7 years. Good enough. Okay. Part B changes it up and says, well, how much money do I have in my account after 7.5 years? You said what? She says 511.25. Miss Smith says, Hold on. You ready for this? You don't have to erase it. There's plenty of space. You didn't have to erase it.
Are you gonna do 500.13? 13 plus 1.
Your answer is still $500.13.
Because it goes up a year, so it wouldn't go
Yes.
up anymore.
Okay, this is being compounded annually. This is annual, which means you don't get any extra money until after a whole year. So we're only halfway through the year here. We're not counting that yet. You don't get it until we hit 8 years. So yes, this is what you will have technically, but you don't see any of that money until the 8 years come into effect. Does that make sense? Okay. So please be careful. They will try to catch you. Okay? Let's take a look at this one. Suppose you invest $600 into an account that pays annual interest of 6.5% a year. After 10 years, how much money have you accumulated into your savings account? What's my equation look like? What do I start off with? 600 times 1 plus 0.065. Good. Raise to the 10th. 1,126.28. Yes, please make sure that you round properly. I don't care. I want that extra penny if you're going to give it to me. I'm petty like that. I want my money. Don't keep my penny. We'll fight.
It's just a penny though.
I don't care. It's my penny. That penny belongs to me.
No, like honestly.
I will be petty over a penny. Watch me. Especially banks, they take everything. Credit cards, they take everything. I'm going to want my penny.
They're right to when I forgot my credit card. They take the food line parking.
Oh, that's lovely.
I had to go back because I know what to do right here.
I had somebody break into my car, steal my purse, took my bank card, both of my credit cards.
Where was this at?
Up in Pennsylvania when I worked in the old folks home.
I had someone break into my house, steal everything. Because I never let old person. Left a mess too. They didn't even have the decency to put everything back. They just robbed me.
Okay,
Who does that?
B says, how much additional money would you gain by leaving it in the account for 1 more year?
$73.21.
Okay, so what's the first thing I have to do?
Plug in 11.
I need to use this equation and plug in 11. I need to know if it's in for 1 more year, how much money do I have at the end of 11 years? And you should have gotten, you said what?
1,199.49.
0.49. Okay, so at the end of 11 years, I've got $1,199.49. Well, that's not what they're asking. They want to know how much additional money you gained in that year. So I then need to subtract what I had after year 10. So in 1 year, in between year 10 and year 11, you've gained $73.21. Questions?
Yo, I'm big mad. My sister owed me $350, and this was like a month ago. Interest.
I'll be damned.
I want to know, but she's
And I'll
not.
never see it.
This is that. She's gonna do it via PayPal, but they haven't they took it out of her account and they charged her for it. But I haven't gotten it.
Oh, I'd be calling PayPal.
Yeah, I did call PayPal. They said that they need my information, but they asked me hers too. And I told her, you call, and I'll just text it to you what you need. And she was like, oh, I'm busy with her.
And I would not be sharing any information on the phone, especially bank account information, anything like that.
Bank account.
Just be careful.
I'm calling you about you want taking money out of my
We
savings.
good? Anybody still need this up?
I about forgot about it too.
Okay. Here's the last two then on this page. Then we're going to talk about compounding monthly, quarterly, all that happy stuff. Okay. You're investing $3,420 into an account paying 7.5% annual interest. Suppose in 5 years, the interest rate's going to drop to 5.5%, and you keep the money in for an additional 3 more years. How much money do you have in the account at the end of your 8-year period?
I have no idea. 34, 20, 36.
Okay, so Ashley said, well, I've got to start out with 34.20. That's what I put in, plus 1 plus. What interest rate am I starting with?
0.05.
Point-
Wait,
0.075.
0.075. I'm starting with this one. Well, how long is it going to be at that interest rate for? 5 years. So I need to handle that first. This one's going to kind of be a 2-parter. 4909.85. After that 5th year, my interest rate drops. So this is how much money's in my account. My interest rate is now dropping though to 0.055. So you're keeping all that money in, you're not taking anything out, you're just leaving it alone. It's just the interest rate is now changing. So that amount times 1 plus 0.055 raised to the what? 3. We're keeping it in there for 3 more years.
$5,765.34.
That's really not a lot either. Sad part is, most of these interest rates, you don't really get at a bank. These are actually higher than what normal banks run. So if you think this is low, you really ain't gonna get much. Okay, you've got to be very smart when you invest money. Look at your interest rates. Look if you're getting penalized. Sometimes if you're told that you have to keep it in for 10 years, if you yank it out after 5, you're getting penalized. They're gonna take money from you. Okay, so you can have your money, but you might be docked $500. Okay, you've got to be careful. How much money did you lose out on in the last 3 years of your account? So what does that mean? Okay, so they want us to know, we said after 5 years, it's dropping. Well, if it didn't drop, how much money am I actually losing out on? So we're going to go back to the original equation. And we're going to keep it in at that rate, lock it in for all 8 years. So if the interest rate would have never dropped, how much money would my account have? $6,099.49. So how do I find out how much money I lost out on? Subtract it by the total I got up here. So with that interest rate dropping, we lost
$334.14.
perfect $334.14.
Are we mad?
I'm mad. Listen, I'm mad if you take a quarter.
Okay, a quarter is a quarter, but if you take like a penny or a nickel,
You taking a penny or a nickel, I'm cool. The bank taking a penny or a nickel, I'm gonna fight them.
the bank takes like.
Because they're rude. Right. I'm gonna be petty with the bank. Maybe that's why my dad used to get so mad at me. My dad used to keep one of those big old water jugs in his room and he'd fill it up with change.
The bank
My brother and I would break into his room, dump it all out, steal all the quarters. We needed change for the corner store. I wanted my candy and my bubble gum.
Right. The bank was nice that time. They gave me $2 in my check.
Oh, well, they must like you.
Yeah, but she's connected. Okay.
Okay,
Make sure it's connected correctly.
example 4, as hard as it's gonna get for this. Ready? You invest $4,000. I'm not going to speak over you. You invest $4,000 into an account paying 6% annual interest. Suppose in 6 years, the annual interest rate will drop to take out $1,500, and you're going to leave the leftover money in for another 4 years. How much money do you have in the account at the end of a 10-year period? So what's the first thing I got to do? I got to put this money in for what?
$4,000.
$4,000. I got to put all my money in.
1 plus 0.6.
1 plus 0.06. Raised to the 6th power. I need to put that money in for 6 years first.
Ms. Smith, may I see the custody bonds and guidance, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, guaranteed this one going next.
I'm trying to type it right now.
Oh, but you're not learning anything for your test tomorrow because you're too focused on that.
I got
So-
the video you can take right now.
Okay, so how much money do I have in my account after 6 years?
$5,674.08.
$5,674.08. Now what happens?
Now you're gonna do minus 1,500.
Oh man! Now they're gonna come through and they're gonna wipe me out. 1,500. So we're now down to $4,174.08. Get penalized. Whoop! There it is. So they wiped you out. The leftover money that you had, you're putting in for what? 4 more years. Is your interest rate changing? No. So we're just going to keep this money in the account now, and we're going to keep it in for another 4 years. Right.
5,269.68.
$5,269.68. In those 4 years, you didn't even make your $1,500 back.
You sure about that?
This is what you had. I was going to say, do I really need to go over that with you? Woo!
I'm waiting. She's gonna come up behind you and flip the chair.
Listen, just know that after graduation, when she comes in to get her diploma, it just makes me miss.
Man, it's about to go down.
Senior squeeze.
And you know what? No, not seriously. I'm gonna leave a little note this place that says, if you want your diploma.
You should do that. I can't even take you serious. Shit. Although my sister's gonna be here, so wait.
Listen, Kelly will laugh at you.
She probably.
She will laugh and think it's hilarious. So I mean, go ahead, write it. Sick your sister on me. Okay. How much money would you have had if you didn't need that 1,500? Okay, if they did not take that 1,500 out until after your 10 years. So now what do I need to do?
5,674.
Oh, no.
Wait, what?
4,170.
4,170.
No.
5,269.
No.
Wait, that number.
Hold on, stop. It says, how much money would you have had if you didn't need that 1,500 after 6 years, but after 10? So instead of this happening in the middle, it's not going to happen till the end.
So you would do 4,000 parentheses 1 plus.
We
said 4 raised to the 10, and then after
Right.
you subtract it.
So we're going to pretend we didn't pull that money out. They didn't yank that 1,500 out in the middle of it. that you let it ride for 10 years and then they took it out.
No, but we said that.
I just had that number.
Ashley didn't say it. I
Okay, so at the end of 10 years, we have this amount. Then they're gonna take out that 1,500, which leaves me with $5,663.39.
Guess what? I got that same exact answer, but I didn't do that.
What'd you do?
I took. See, now I forgot what I did. Maybe you were I did that.
we should.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that would have worked. Okay.
She'd be like, oh,
Wait, how did Ashley do it?
So what Ashley did, instead of going back clear to the beginning and did it for a total of 10, she just took the answer that you had after 6 years and did it for another 4 and got this same total
Yeah.
and then subtracted.
I said.
I didn't think about it. That's a good call. That worked. Okay.
Can you move that button thingy, the one that says 20? Something out of 30.
This?
Yeah.
The little button thingy. Can you move that little button thingy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have dyslexia because I just got like 5,000 or like 5628968. I don't know how I got that. I have serious.
But tell me what this woman said your friend that was done. And she went to see us. See us not that good. But then they do it a long
Okay.
time. But
Anybody still need this up? All right. We're going to add a little bit to your equation, do a couple examples, and we'll be finished.
I don't have space.
It's on the back. I'm done with you. I am so done with you. Oh my goodness.
Make her find it, Miss Smith.
Seriously.
I'm gonna skip my first job on you.
Tomorrow, your test is going to be hidden somewhere in this room. You've got to find it and take it all by the end of the period.
Okay, I'll just come here first.
Come here.
I'll lock my door.
I'll
I'll be
get the
here.
janitor.
I'll be here. I'll be here before
I'll get the janitor. All right. So now our formula has changed by 1 letter. Okay. We're now dividing your interest by K and we're multiplying how many years by K. Because now we're going to look at compounded quarterly, compounded monthly, compounded daily.
No, the letter that got changed was the I. It's smaller now.
What?
I'm just
1,
waiting
2, 3,
for
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My therapist said count to 10. 1, 2. Oh my God. Some days I hate you, just so you know. So, because we're compounding more than just once a year, we have to account for that. So that's what K does. Okay. So it takes your interest and breaks it down. It also takes your years and breaks it down. Okay. So that's the only difference. And again, we didn't use K in the last one because if it's being compounded yearly, you would divide I by 1. Is that going to change I? No. Dividing by 1 doesn't change it. I would multiply N by 1. That's not going to change it either. So that's why K didn't come into the picture until right now. So let's do some of these. Okay, so quarterly compounded interest. Transitions are going to occur every how many months? It's happening 4 times a year.
4.
Every how many months?
4.
3. I said that.
It's going to happen every 3 months. Okay, compounded quarterly means my K value is 4. You're going to get money 4 times a year. Okay, we also need to identify P sub 0. How much money am I putting in?
1,000.
$1,000. I also need to identify I. 0.10 or just 0.1, it does not matter. Okay, that 0 is not going to make a difference. Okay, what we're not going to fill in is n because I'm changing n. I'm changing it to 1 year, then I'm going to change it to 5 years, then I'm going to change it to 5.5 years. Okay. So, we start with P sub 0 times 1 plus 0.10 divided by 4. You now need to determine what do I raise that to. Well, you need to take your K value, which is 4, and you multiply that by how many years, which is 1. So, to do the first one, we're going to raise this to the 4.
Wait, so you did the 4 times 4 to identify that it was a year,
Yes.
and that in the
4 times a year times 1 year means I've done 4 transitions. Okay? For C, if I'm doing it 5 years, 4 times a year, 20. 5 times 4 is 20 transitions. I'm getting my money 20 times. If I do it 4 times a year for 5.5 years, 22. Okay, so all we're doing is none of this is going to change. All that's going to change is this time I'm raising it to the 20th, and this time I'm going to raise it to the 22nd. So we've got 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 divided by 4 raised to the 20th, and 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 divided by 4 raised to the 22nd. Okay, so if we keep your money in after 1 year, we've got $1,103.81. If I decide to keep it in for 5 years, we're now up to $1,638.62. And if I keep it in for 5.5,
57 cents.
woo! $1,721.57. So all of these problems are now going to be the same. We're just changing your K values. Okay? Hold on, Ivan's still writing, Yesenia's still writing, Shatori's still writing. You're good? Oh, you're working on the next one. Let me know, you good? Ivan, let me know when you're good.
I don't know why, but I thought the bag was oranges.
No, it's Amaya's
It's a
uniform. She wants me to see if Mr. Beverly can wash it for her. If not, she's gonna be wearing a dirty uniform.
I mean, I would too. I wouldn't even wash on the weekends. Actually, I don't even wash when I'm done. I don't do anything.
You good, Ivan? Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to monthly compound interest. Transitions occur every month. Stop yawning.
I'm so
Killing me.
tired. I'm trying to stay awake
So-
right now.
If I'm doing this monthly, what does my K value change to? Remember, your K value is how many times a year? 12. P sub 0 this time. Woo, we getting a little richer. We're putting in 2,000. And my interest, 0.15. That's a lot of interest. So we start off with 2,000, 1 plus 0.15 divided by 12 this time. I need to figure out though, what am I raising it to? Well, if this happens 12 times a year for 2 years,
24.
we're at 24. 12 times 2. And if I'm going 12 times a year for 4.75 years,
57.
oops, times 12, that shouldn't be an equals.
57.
You said 57. Whew. Okay, so the first one, I'm raising it to the 24th. The second one, I'm raising it to the 57th.
Big thing.
So what now?
57,250.
What?
She said you're wrong.
You didn't divide 0.5 by
Never mind.
12. I got $2,694.70. And for the second one, I got $4,060.19.
How did you know? I wasn't even me.
They always break when they call them test.
Oh, man. Hey, so what is this? Emma?
It's whatever your birthstone is for the month you were born.
Girl, just look it up. June births.
I really like the senior pictures that she had done this year with the whole team and then you guys and Sierra. I didn't get any picture with the seniors this year.
You weren't there.
I was there because I'm in the group picture.
No, like I'm saying, when we went, like, you left. Like, we stayed, and they were like, seniors, come take you to the coach. And you're like, oh, shit, the coach just left.
We good now? All right. Here's our last one. And I'm officially done annoying you.
No, guess what I thought?
Yes.
I thought that our game today was on Friday.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah, I can't wait to take it easy and like just
Daily compounded interest, which means my transitions are now occurring every day. Okay. It's not a leap year ever. Whether it's a leap year or not, they're only compounding it for 365 days. Okay. So my K value is only 365. Please do not use 366. Okay. We don't get that extra day in February. My P sub 0 is 1500 and my I is 0.08.
I'm so tired.
Okay, so our problems are going to start off with 1500 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by 365. We need to figure out what am I raising them to this time. The first one I want to raise it
1095.
3 years. So 3 years, 365 days in a year, 10,000,
1,095.
1,095. But I said 10.
1,095. Because I've got 10,957 written on mine.
How? 3 times 365.
I don't know. He messed it up. 3 times 8.
365 times 8.
Or sorry. Yeah, 3 times 8. Oh my God. 365 times 8. I was going off of that 3, not 2920. That one you got. He just added a 7 on for some reason. I don't know why. He must have just missed it. So, 1095, 2920. Let's hope the answers are correct here.
I'm gonna do that one.
Careful. For 3 years, you're raising it to the 10,095. Or you raised it to 3.
Oh.
It is 3, but it's 3 times how many days in the year. So you need to raise it to that. Tell me if these are right. $1,906.82.
Yeah.
And $2,844.52. So tell me this while some people are finishing writing. Would it be better to compound yearly, quarterly, monthly, or daily in your opinion?
Daily.
Monthly.
Can you justify why you chose
Daily,
that?
because I know how many days are in a year.
This looks like the middle one, right?
Daily, because I know how many days are in the year.
Yeah, I was here.
So it makes it easier to plug numbers into the formula.
Yep. 'Cause I'm
You don't have to think about, seriously, monthly is that difficult?
Not quarterly. But
Monthly, yeah, monthly.
Quarterly is that difficult? Yes.
She was there since
Okay.
5:30.
So, your technical homework for tonight, which I'm not collecting. There is the 10.3 review up on Canvas, I do believe. Let me make sure before I speak and speak wrong. Okay. On Canvas. Okay. On Canvas, we are only focusing on 10.3. So it's called 10.3 Quiz Review. I've got the quiz review on there. I want you to work through.
Finally, this side shows.
I've done this a million times over. Okay. I want you to work through the problems. I also have the answer key on there for you to check yourselves. Okay. Please come at the beginning of class. We can take the first 10 minutes or so to answer any questions that are on that before we start.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think we're on test.
Oh my gosh.